I, a teen male, have speech issues. I have a stutter, and I also have trouble making certain sounds as well. I did speech therapy when I was younger, and I'm better than I was, but I still can't say some things correctly. I was my parents' only child until now. My mom is pregnant with my baby sister, and they chose her name, which is something I can't say correctly. The name is Michelle, and I have a lot of trouble with the shell part. I don't say words like shell right either. My parents are really frustrated by it and are saying that I'm doing it intentionally because I don't like the fact that it's a traditional name. They use the fact I want to change my name to say I'm being intentionally difficult. It hurts. They know I've always struggled with this, but now it's a big issue. My stutter got worse because of the stress of my parents, and now the name sounds even worse out of my mouth, which angers them more. But I'm not doing it intentionally. I worked so hard for so long on the sounds. My maternal grandparents spoke in my defense, but Mom told them to shut up and said that they were encouraging me. She was already angry because they offered to pay for me to change my name. My mom said it was so wrong, and this was just another way for them to undermine her and my dad as my parents. I told my parents it was unfair for them to blame me for saying the name wrong. I said it when they got on me again for how I was saying the name. They kept making me repeat it so I got it right. But I got worse because the pressure makes my stutter so bad. My parents told me I shouldn't talk to them about fairness when I keep criticizing the names they love, which I don't. I never said anything about Michelle, and I regret telling them that I hate my name and want something different. My name is Richard. Am I the idiot for telling my parents it's unfair to blame me for not saying my new sister's name correctly? They won't let me get away with saying her name badly for the rest of my life. So, your parents know that you can't pronounce certain sounds well and have chosen a name you can't pronounce? Wow. Your parents are really sad people. You lost the lottery with them. Ignore them and call the new baby Mimi instead of Michelle. Tell them that Michelle is a French name and that Mimi is a gnome nickname for Michelle. Refuse to play by their say it correctly games anymore. They seem to get pleasure from belittling you. Maybe go live with your grandparents. Not the idiot. Don't let your parents mistreat you again. Keep standing up for yourself. No more pronunciation games. Geez, do they not understand how stutters work? This sucks, and it's ridiculous that you're having to go through this. If your parents had educated themselves even a tiny bit about stutters, they would know full well that yelling at you and stressing you out would make it worse. I would ask them if they were deliberately trying to hurt your relationship with your sister by giving her a name that they knew you couldn't pronounce, and why they'd set you up to fail. They're the idiots here, not you. You don't do stuff like that to people you love, especially to your kids. This might go without saying, but if your parents are this unsupportive of the stutter, there's a good chance that they're unsupportive about other things. So it might be worth taking stock of your support system besides them, i.e. the grandparents who stood up for you, friends and other family, and strengthening those relationships as much as possible before the baby comes. I'm sorry you're having to deal with this, friend. I'm sure you can legally change your name when you're able to. Try singing her name. The brain uses different regions for speech and singing, and using music can be a useful tool. My favorite example is Cannonball Run. The actor was Mel Tillis, a singer actually. His stutter was real, but it disappeared when he sang. OP, here's an idea. There's a song, Michelle, by the Beatles. It's quite lovely. Could you download it and try singing along? Singing Michelle, My Belle, to the baby sounds heartbreakingly beautiful to me. My 51 male parents, 75 male, 74 female, are workaholics and addicted to money. They love their jobs more than their children, so they sent me and my sister to live with our grandmother when we were 6 and 8. My sister, 49 female, moved out when she turned 18, and I continued living with my grandmother until I graduated from college at 25 because I enjoyed living with her, and I also wanted to take care of her when she got sick. The thing is that a few months ago, she died. She left everything to me, my sister, my wife, 34, and our children, a female pre-tween, a female young grammar schooler, a female preschooler, a female toddler, and an infant boy. But my sister only wanted one thing, and that was a necklace that belonged to my father's family for almost 2 centuries. My ancestors always gave those necklaces to their daughters-in-law when they gave birth to their first male child as a form of celebration, because the family name would continue for at least one more generation. But my grandmother hated my mother and never gave it to her. She only kept it because she hoped that I'd give it to my wife, and I did. I gave the necklace to my wife when our son was born and never told my sister, and when she saw my wife wearing it, she lost her mind. She accused me of being greedy and selfish. Also, she accused me of having stolen such a precious family jewel to give it to a whore. She always hated my wife because she didn't agree with our grandmother adopting the daughter of the nurse who took care of her as another granddaughter. According to her, it was unfair that she loved my wife more than her, but my grandmother loved her because my wife was always there for her. My sister, on the other hand, rarely visited her after moving, and when her children were born, she never taught them our grandmother's language so they could communicate. And that hurt her because she loved communicating with my children who do know her language. Long story short, I don't think I did anything wrong by giving that jewel to my wife, but suddenly my sister and even my parents believe that I should return that jewel because it's something that my sister wants to keep as a memory of her grandmother. But I don't care. Am I the idiot? Edit. My grandmother adopted my wife as her granddaughter symbolically, not literally. Not the idiot. It was your grandmother's necklace, and she chose who she wanted it to go to. It might be a family heirloom. I can see why your sister would be upset about that, but ultimately, it isn't her decision. She also didn't make an effort to be closer to your grandmother, though she might be regretting it now. A necklace she somehow feels entitled to isn't going to make it better. She also went too far by calling your wife a whore. I feel like she needs to sort her emotions out, and none of this is your fault. Your grandmother's wishes were met. End of story. Just reread your post. Grandma dies a while ago and leaves everything to you and your sister. Your sister only wants one necklace and tells you to keep everything else. You kept everything and later gave the necklace to your wife 2 months ago, knowing full well your sister wanted it, which is why you didn't tell her. You are the idiot. Give your sister her necklace back. Greedy. I wish more people would read what he actually wrote. His sister had one thing she wanted and said he could literally have everything else in the estate. The OP takes everything and gives away the one thing she wants. He's also a creep with the age difference with his wife. I guarantee that if we heard the sister side, it would be very different from OP's version. He's a huge idiot. I had a friend with benefits, Lisa. I gained feelings and asked her if we could be more. She said that I was a nice guy and enjoyed the intimacy, but she couldn't really imagine a relationship with me. She said we should just go back to being friends, so we did. She dated a bunch of other guys and I met a few women I liked. We stayed friends and I never pushed for more, not even going back to how it was. I started dating my fiancée, Laura, a few years ago, and she became friends with Lisa. She knows about our past relationship and is okay with it as long as I respect her boundaries, which I always have and will. We got engaged last weekend. No wedding plans yet, but she's the one. Lisa called me yesterday and asked me if I got engaged. I told her yes. She asked me why I would do that since she was waiting for me to break up with Laura so we could try again, now that I had proven I could be in a relationship. I told her we couldn't be friends anymore and immediately told Laura what happened. She told me I shouldn't, not couldn't, hang around with Lisa anymore. I told her that I already said we couldn't be friends. A few of our friends from college have told me I'm an idiot for cutting Lisa out, since I knew she always had a thing for me. I said that nobody informed me that I was her backup plan. I would not have been interested if I had known. I'm no one's second choice. Lisa asked me to have coffee with her to talk. I went, after I told Laura what I was up to. Lisa said I was an idiot for not telling her I was serious about Laura and planning on getting engaged. She was waiting for me to tell her so she could tell me that she was ready for me now. What? She said she didn't realize how serious we were, since Laura and I don't live together yet. We both live with our parents to save money for life. My folks are semi-retired and spend 9 months of the year away on vacations. Laura's parents are happy to have her there to help with her younger siblings. I know I made the right decision cutting her off, but I'm wondering how the F I was supposed to know. I'll be honest, if Lisa had told me in the first year of my relationship with Laura that she was ready, I might have considered it. Laura and I were dating but not serious. How's it my fault if she never informed me? Not the idiot. Lisa's gaslighting you because of the shock and horror at her failure to secure you as her backup plan, not expecting you to be free of her leash while she played mind games with you. Tough luck for her. You moved on. Congratulations on your engagement. Also, she was lying. Waiting for me to break up with Laura so we could try again, now that I've proven I can be in a relationship? Come on, man. You weren't her backup plan, dude. You were an option, one that she didn't like losing because her rejection of you validated that someone wanted her. Had you been dumb enough to dump Laura, Lisa would have gotten her validation fix and changed her mind right after. You're good. A real friend would be happy for you, not going, "What about me?" I, 26 female, asked my boyfriend, 31, of 5 months, to not get in my bed with his outside clothes on. I saw him walk over to the bed and start peeling back the comforter and sheet when I said to him, "Oh, no, wait. Please don't get in my bed with outside clothes on. They're dirty." He took this as me calling him dirty. I tried to explain it was just the thought that we traversed through puddles in the parking lot, walked all around the grocery store, then drove back to my place in my car, which is disgusting. And he said all on my dog's bed. It's a giant beanbag. Also disgusting. And I didn't want all those germs in the bed. I could tell he seemed offended by that, so I offered up some pajamas I had that would fit him. He said in a snarky tone, "I can promise you what I'm wearing now is cleaner than anything in your closet." I tried to stay calm and explained again that it was just the thought of outside germs in my bed that grossed me out. He said, "That's weird." That's where I lost it because I felt disrespected in my own home. I agreed in a condescending way. "Yeah, okay, I'm weird, and your clothes aren't dirty," and stormed out of the room. He raised his voice and said he didn't call me weird, but what I was asking and disheveled about was weird. So now I'm sitting here writing this because I want to take him home for saying that to me. He's still sitting in my room watching the show we were supposed to watch together, nonetheless. It's the little things like this that make me think we're not compatible. This happens maybe once every 2 weeks, when he'll get offended and say something hurtful, and it's always on me to diffuse when I've been disrespected. I want him to leave now and not talk to him for the night. I also feel like I'm overreacting, but I feel like it's a simple request. Would that make me an idiot? Outside clothes and bed? Straight to jail. Nope, not the idiot. I'm with you. It's baffling to me. It sounds like he's lazy and doesn't care about being clean. My bed is where I lay my head. If you've been outside doing odd jobs, or it's been miserable out, change. Also, I hate people wearing shoes on my bed. I was also raised in a household that didn't allow outside germs in the bed, so I totally understand. You're right in saying you're not compatible. 5 months in and you're frequently at each other's throats over simple stuff? No bueno. The bottom line is that he's minimizing your concerns. You're allowed to set rules in your own house. That he doesn't respect them or you is a red flag. Reconsider this relationship. Agreed. If you can't go 2 weeks without an argument like this, maybe you're correct and you aren't compatible. There's a basic level of respect that you don't have to question things in a rude and dismissive way or call it weird. It doesn't seem that he respects you and he likes to provoke you. You can do better. Curious why these posts are always about the clothes or the shoes and never the body. Did you make him shower too? Since his hair and face touch that same dirty air and his hands and arms touch the same dirty car, his butt probably sat on a toilet that wasn't cleaned immediately before sitting down. Perhaps next time you should communicate in advance that he should pack a bag of clean clothes every time he visits you or leave some at your place. And wait, your car is so dirty that you don't want to be in the bed with the same clothes you were in when you sat in your car? How does a clean freak have a dirty car? I'm not calling you an idiot, but you're dealing with some kind of issue. I, 37 female, have 2 kids from my previous marriage, a tween and a pre-tween. A few months ago, my current husband started having issues. At the very end of last month, his doctor called and said it was likely a form of cancer. We dropped my kids off with my parents and went. It was, and he was admitted to start treatments. What was supposed to be 3 to 4 days turned into a month stay. I asked my ex if he wanted to stay with my kids at our home, but he said he couldn't take that much time off work. He could only do weekends. So my kids stayed with my parents. Given the circumstances, I could be there for my husband and give him the support he needed and what care I could. When he could have visitors, my in-laws brought my kids twice to visit us. The second time they didn't speak to anyone and wanted to sit outside the room. Thursday was their last day of school, and per the custody agreement, they had to be there with their father starting yesterday. Typically, my ex and I meet halfway, since it's a 5-hour drive, but this time I asked him to come pick them up. He did, and I asked him to bring the kids to the hospital so I could see them before they went. He called and told me the kids didn't want to see me. I didn't believe that because my kids love me, and handoffs have never been an issue. I insisted. He brought the kids, but they wouldn't get out of the car, no matter how many times I asked or even told them to. I looked to my ex for backup, but he wasn't going to force them. He told me he understands I have a lot going on, and my husband needs me, but our kids need me too. He said that if he was able to leave his girlfriend 3 weekends in a row to be with our kids, I should have been able to show up at least 1 day a week. Since yesterday, I've been texting and calling my ex to have him put the kids on the phone and pass on my messages, but he says they still don't want to talk to me. I thought I was doing the right thing and that my kids would understand. Am I the idiot for leaving my kids with my parents for a month before summer vacation to support my husband? Edit. The hospital is an hour away from where we live. I did tell my kids what was going on. I talked to them daily via the phone and did video calls with them. Sometimes we did both while I sat with him during his treatment, and we all watched a movie together during the evening via phone call. So you stayed at the hospital 24/7? What about work? Why couldn't you go home? Why did you have to stay and not just visit? You are the idiot for abandoning your children. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so there isn't a work issue. The ward allows spouses and parents of minor patients to stay overnight, and his boss has paid for a nearby motel room I can use for showering and sleep. 2 hours is a lot to drive each day. I'm staying because my husband needs me while he goes through this. You're a darn stay-at-home mom on top of it? Pathetic. 2 hours is a lot to drive each day? Oh, cry me a darn river. That's just lazy. Isn't this an oxymoron? You weren't a mom for that month, were you? You could have and should have gone to see your kids. They needed you. I'm sorry, but your husband is an adult. He doesn't need someone with him 24/7. An hour? She wouldn't drive an hour to see the kids. This is insane. What makes it worse is that OP abandoned the children for her new husband, not their father. Stepchildren often feel like the new parent is replacing them. OP just showed them that the new husband is more important than they are. Your husband was admitted for a month in the same city where you live, and you weren't working? So you had 16 hours a day, assuming 8 hours of sleep, and you didn't get your butt in the car once to see your young children? Jesus.